Hello students, I am here again with a new video on behalf of Edu4Nation. If you like this video and if you think you learned something from this video, please do like the video and subscribe my channel. This will inspire me to make more and more videos exclusively for you. In this video, we are going to learn a new topic from the 5th chapter of your class 10 science textbook, which is periodic classification of elements. In this topic, we are going to learn about the classification of elements, about the need for the classification of elements, and the first attempt made by Dovreiner. So we will study Dovreiner triads. So these things are going to be learned in this chapter. Okay students, so let's begin. So today's topics is confined only to two parts. So one is classification of elements and the need for classification, and the second one is Dovreiner triad. So what are the learning outcomes? So after learning these topics, you will be able to state the need for classification of elements, describe Dovreiner's triad, explain the law of triad, summarize the achievements and drawbacks. So these are the learning outcomes. You will gain this concept after reading this topic. So prerequisites. You have to know these things before studying the chapters. So before studying these chapters, you must have the concepts of substances, elements and compounds. You have to know about different types of elements, metal, non-metals and metalloids, and of course you have to know the concepts of atoms and atomic mass, because these things are important to study this topic. Now come to classification. So what is classification? You have already known about classification. In lower grades you have classified matter into three states of matter. So you have also known about biological classification of organisms. So classification is what? Classification is the process of grouping something or some entities on the basis of similarities among them. So this is called classification. Now see, look on the figure, look on the skin. So some things are there, they are randomly distributed. So there are crosses, there are stars, there are arrows, there are crescents. So these are randomly distributed. Now if I ask you how many crosses are there, so for this you have to count 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. There are 5 crosses. How many arrows are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many stars are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And how many crescents are there? 1, 2, 3. So you take some time to count them. Now if I give you some, now look on this figure, the right hand side of your skin. So these are now orderly placed. So there are 3 crescents, there are 5 arrows, there are 6 stars and there are 5 crosses. So your counting becomes easier. That means that whenever you classify something, if someone classified something, now it is easier for you to study them. So this is the need for classification of anything. So this is called classification. And now we find that why classification is important. With advances in science, the number of discovered elements increased. So in the year 1800, there are 30 elements. In the year 1866, there were 56 elements. So in the year 1869, there were 63 elements. And now in 2020, there are 118 elements that have been discovered. So what happens now? So it is difficult to study and remember the behavior and properties of each and every element, and also how they form the compounds. So now to study every element, so it is become very difficult. Hence attempts have been made to classify these elements to groups of elements having similar characters. So now we classify them. So we classify them on the basis of their similarities. As a result, our study will become easier, and also our study will become systematic. So if someone classified these elements, and if you know the properties of one of the elements, then we can predict the properties of the other elements in the same groups. So this is how the study becomes easier for you. Now we shall see different attempts made by different scientists during the course of time. So in chronological order, we'll see different scientists, how different scientists made different classifications. So First classification was made by Dobereiner. His classification was known as Dobereiner triads in the year 1870. So in the year 1866, Newland came with his octaves. So his classification is known as Newland's octaves. And the third one is very important. So in the year 1866, Mendeleev came with his periodic table. And the last one is the modern periodic table. So it was contributed by many scientists, mostly Moseley, Bohr, Barry, and Glenn Sieberg. So during 1913 to 2022, modern periodic tables was built. So now, before going to Dobereiner's triads, we will know something about the famous scientist Dobereiner. So his full name was Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner. He was a famous German chemist. He studied as a pharmacist at Mansburg in Germany and then studied chemistry at Strasbourg. He became a professor of chemistry and pharmacy at the University of Jena. He discovered similar triads of elements which led to the development of the periodic table of elements. Dobereiner made the first observation on platinum as a catalyst. He invented Dobereiner lamp. So it is a special type of lighter. So Dobereiner made many contributions to chemistry. One of the main contribution was he made the classification of the elements. So he is also known for his contribution for his observation on platinum as a catalyst. For the first time he used platinum as a catalyst. He invented Dobereiner lamp also. So it is a special type of lighter gas lamp. So Dobereiner was a famous. We'll study Dobereiner's triads. So Dobereiner's triads. So what? Dobereiner triads is the. Now we'll study Dobereiner triads. Dobereiner identified some groups of three elements having similarity in physical and chemical properties. We call these groups triads. So on the basis of similar chemical and physical properties, Dobereiner identified three elements and he took them on a group of three, cluster of three. So this is known as triad. So Dobereiner showed that when the three elements in a triad were written in order of increasing atomic masses, the atomic mass of the middle element was roughly the average of the atomic masses of the other two elements. So he noticed an interesting fact on his on the triad. So when he made the average of the lightest and the heaviest element, so it is almost equal to the atomic mass of the middle element. So Dobereiner made these triads. So one with lithium, sodium, and potassium. It is one of the triads. So this is called alkali forming triads. The second one is of calcium, strontium, and barium. This is called alkali earth forming triad. And the third one is of halogens. So it is chlorine, bromine, and iodine. So these three triads were identified by Dobereiner. So the first one is alkali forming triad because these are alkali metals. They form alkali with water. Alkali are soluble bases. So this group is known as, this triad is known as alkali forming triad, and these are alkali earth metals, hence this is known as alkali earth forming triad. So then this is called halogen triad. So these are halogen gases, so these are known as halogen triad. So we identify, so the properties of lithium, sodium, and potassium will be similar. So these are in the same triad. So calcium, strontium, and barium will have similar properties. So similarly, chlorine, bromine, and iodine will show similar physical and chemical properties. Now we see. So what are the similar characteristics based on which these triads were formed? So first, look at the first triad of lithium, sodium, and potassium. So these elements are soft metals. All these elements are soft metals. Lithium, sodium, and potassium are soft metals. These elements react with water to form alkali and hydrogen gas. So all these elements react with water to form alkali. Alkali means the soluble bases. So lithium reacts with water to form lithium hydroxide and water. Lithium hydroxide is soluble in water. So the sodium reacts with water to form sodium hydroxide, which is soluble in water, and also hydrogen gas. Potassium also reacts with water to form potassium hydroxide and water. Potassium hydroxide is an alkali because it is soluble in water, because it is a base and soluble in water. So all these make all these form bases with water which are soluble in water. So these have similar characteristics. So based on this, these are grouped together. So and it is the first triad of Dobereiner. Then the second one, it is of calcium, strontium, and barium. Now what are the similar characteristics? Now see, these elements are flammable metals. So they burn with some characteristic color. So then these elements react with water to form corrosive hydroxides. They also form hydroxide with water. And the third one, all these elements have valency 2. The first lithium, sodium and potassium have valency 1, monovalent. These elements are monovalent, and these elements are now bivalent. So these have valency 2. Now all these elements for the halogen triad, all these elements are non-metals and form diatomic gases. So they form diatomic gases. That means we write them Cl2, bromine, Br2 and I2. So in molecular form we write chlorine 2, bromine 2 and iodine 2. That means one molecule of chlorine consists of 2 chlorine atoms, one molecule of bromine consists of 2 bromine atoms, and one molecule of iodine consists of 2 iodine atoms. So there is a common similarity. All these elements are non-metals and form diatomic gases. So all these are non-metals and form diatomic gases. All react with water to form corresponding hydroacids. So they form acids, hydroacids. Hydroacids is an acid made of hydrogen and a non-metal. So when chlorine reacts with water, it forms hydrochloric acid. So bromine reacts with water to form hydrobromic acid, and iodine reacts with water to form hydroiodic acid. So these are the similar characteristics based on which these halogens are grouped together to form the Dobereiner triad. So while making the triad, Dobereiner observed an interesting fact. He noticed that if the three elements in a triad are arranged in the order of increasing or decreasing atomic masses, the atomic mass of the middle element is roughly the average of the atomic masses of the other two elements. So this is known as law of triad. So let us apply Dobrynin's law of triad for different elements of a triad. According to Dobrynin's law of triad, so you know, if you arrange the elements in increasing order of their atomic masses, then the average atomic mass of the first and the third one will be equal to or nearly equal to the atomic mass of the middle element. So in this case, lithium has an atomic mass of 7 and potassium has an atomic mass of 39. So if we take the average, it will come out to be 23, which is exactly equal to the atomic mass of sodium. So the law is applicable here. So now consider the second triad, which consists of calcium, strontium and barium. Calcium has an atomic mass of 40.1 U. Strontium has an atomic mass of 87.1 U, and that of barium is 137.3 U. So now we take the average atomic mass of calcium, which is 40.1, and that of barium, which is 137.3. So divided by 2, it will be equal to ultimately equal to 88.7 U. So 88.7 is nearly equal to the atomic mass of strontium, which is 87.1. So this is also correct. So this is correct. Now this is also correct. Now we shall check the third one. So which is halogen triad. It is made up of halogen gas. That means chlorine, bromine and iodine. So if you take the average atomic mass of the first one, that is chlorine 35.5 plus that of iodine 126.9 by 2, it will come out to be 81.2, which is nearly equal to the atomic mass of bromine. It is 79.9. So this is also correct. So Dobereiner triad, the law of triad is applicable in these three triads. So he was correct to this extent. Now we'll discuss about achievements of Dobereiner. Dobereiner was the pioneer in the field of classification of elements. The attempts of Dobereiner encouraged other chemists to correlate the properties of elements with their atomic masses. So he was one of the first to classify the elements on some important basis, and then his attempts encourages the chemist to correlate the properties of elements with their atomic. So there must be some relationship between the properties of element with their atomic masses. So this concept was first achieved by Dobereiner. So these are his achievements, but there are many drawbacks in his classification. So the first one is Dobereiner could identify only 3 triads out of the elements known during this time. During his time, so he could identify only 3 triads. So there are many elements discovered during his time. So I think it was almost 39 elements were there. So during his time, so there are many elements, but he only classified 9 elements, because there are 3 triads and each triad consists of 3 elements, so you only classify the 9 elements, so other are kept aside. So this is not the exact process of classification. So then the law of triad seems to be invalid if we make a triad based on the similar criteria as illustrated by Dober and especially one element with very high or very low atomic masses. Now if you consider another triad, so of fluorine, chlorine and bromine, now if you apply the law of triad, you will find that this is not valid, so this law is invalid. That means Doberan was wrong in designing this law. So that is why these are his law, these are drawbacks of his triad, and this triad were rejected. Thank you. We'll meet soon with a new video.